Hey y'all, just got out of the sauna, so a little wet here. I'm feeling a bit inspired, and so I wanted to share just some thoughts in no particular order from things I've learned about setting goals. So, as they come to my mind, the first one is setting goals that are too simple, too easy. What I mean by this is it's really tempting to set big, audacious goals, which you can do, but I feel like you have to earn it. See, I don't know the science behind this, but I feel like there is a lot of feel-good chemicals that get set when you set a big goal, like I'm going to work out every day for the next year. If I'm not working out, that sounds awesome. And I can imagine myself working out. I can already think of myself, how good I'd look if I would work out every day. And so just setting that goal and saying it it feels really good. And, I think some people might say, okay, that's why you need to set big, audacious goals and dream big. And what I would say is yes, but all too often, if you set too big of a goal, you won't keep it. And I'm much more about keeping goals than setting big goals and not keeping them. Now, again, I don't know the science to this, but I feel like your brain keeps a record of every time you've set a goal and not met it. And when you're setting new goals, your brain is already real far down thinking you're making, let me say it this way, you're making yourself into someone that does what they say or doesn't do what they say. And you don't want to turn into someone who, later down the line has totally divorced their mind from reality to expectations. What you want to do is bring those two together. And so by setting simple, really easy, really attainable goals, and then actually meeting them, you are you're marrying expectations and reality. And then now, I'm only saying do this at the beginning. I'm not saying never set big goals. I'm saying you have to earn it. So I almost view setting big goals as a reward in itself. Because you do get those big feelings, and especially if you are telling people about it, it feels really good to tell people about it. So I almost see that as a reward in itself, and something you have to earn for yourself. And so what I would recommend is, set a very simple goal. So what I would say when I'm trying to start a new goal or stop a bad habit, I make the goal of, depending on what it is, doing it for one day. So my goal is just, can I do it today? And if I can get it through today, then I'll make a goal to do it for maybe 3 days. So, okay, I want to start waking up early, right? I want to start waking up at 6 a.m. I'm going to do that for the next year. No, don't do that. Say, okay, I'm going to do this tomorrow. And you can tell whoever you want, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 6 a.m. And you'll get to see how it is. And it's going to be hard. And so when you then set it for 3 days, you're going into it with an expectation that can match reality. Because we often don't think about everything that could come up. And oftentimes, we don't even really want to we may not want to keep the goals that we set. So let's take the 6 a.m. If I say I'm going to wake up at 6 a.m. for the rest of the year, we'll say, a girlfriend enters the picture and you're only able to see her after work half a year from now. And so if you're going to keep to your 6 a.m. schedule, then that means you're going to have to cut time with her. And later down the line, you might say, you might make an intentional choice that it's actually worth it to me to wake up later to spend more time with her. So you don't really know what's going to come down the line. That's why you don't set too big of goals too early. And that was kind of a sidetrack. So back to, okay, so once you've done one day, then you can do 3 days, and you can tell everyone you want, okay, I'm going to do 3 days. And it feels almost lame, right? Like, it feels almost lame to like set a goal for 3 days. Like, it sounds way more awesome to set it for a whole year, right? Like, if you can tell everyone I'm gonna wake up at 6 a.m. for the next year, like, that feels way more awesome and sounds way more awesome. But I think it's much better to set it for 3 days and keep it, and then extend it, than to say I'm gonna do it for a year, only do it for 3 days, and then realize, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. So you're done with 3 days, you made it 3 days, and at this point you're starting to realize the costs of the goal you made, because every decision you make has a cost and has a benefit and a cost. And so we often don't consider the cost when doing goals. So you made it 3 days, now you can set it for a week, and you get the idea, right? You get done with a week, and maybe you can set it for a month. So I'm going to call this progressive goal setting. It's not that you can't set big goals, it's that you set goals progressively bigger and bigger. Okay, that's one. The next one is try to find ways to outsmart your future self. Or another way to say it is to be smarter than your future self. Or think about what dumb thing you might do in the future or excuse you might make in the future, and then figure out a way that even if that excuse or dumb thing comes up, you've already figured a plan B to still achieve your goal. So one way I recommend doing this is, if you have a plan of I want to do something every day, then make it a priority to do that thing first thing in the morning instead of making it a thing that you do at night. So for example, journaling. If I wanted to journal every day, I would probably journal first thing in the morning. Now the reason you do this is because if you miss it in the morning, then you still have the rest of the day to do it. Versus if you make it, right before I go to bed, I'm going to journal, then, you might stay out late with friends, you might, life happens, you might get home tired, you might forget, your phone might be dead, and you just don't, so you haven't really given yourself a plan B that's built into your plan. And so I would say goals that have a plan B built into them tend to be a lot more successful. Another example of this is, there was a couple times, I want to work out every weekday. There was a couple times, at least one too many for me, where I got to the gym and I realized I don't have my gym bag, or I don't have a certain thing that I need for the gym. And so I actually packed an entire everything I need for the gym: shorts, shirt, underwear, socks, a towel, and I put it in a bag in the corner of the gym and left it there. That way, if I still bring my gym bag, but if for some reason I forget my gym bag, then I have that extra entire outfit ready to go. So I've already outsmarted my future self that might have some sort of excuse or some sort of way of getting out of it. The next thing I'd recommend is figure out a way, or make your goals something that there's a destination, or make your goal something that there's multiple ways to achieve it. So that if one way doesn't work in a certain day or time, then you can use another way to achieve that same goal. So for example, reading books. Reading books isn't often a goal. And you might prefer to read a physical book. But what I would recommend is make your goal just consuming, say, one book a month. That way you can do what you want to do. You could read it, but if push really came to shove and you didn't have enough time or didn't get to the library or something to pick up the book, you can listen to it on audiobook. So that's a way that there's multiple ways to get to that destination, right? Another one is like maybe you want to go to CrossFit every day. Well, one day the CrossFit gym might be closed, or you're not able to get out to it, or you're traveling. So maybe making the goal to work out once a day, or to do 10 minutes of intense activity once a day. And if that's your goal, then you have many ways of achieving that. And you can also achieve it for a much more consistent and long term. And it's more flexible to life changing. The other thing I do is, at least personally, I don't really like telling people that I'm going to start something until I've already done it for at least a few days or a week, or depending on what it is. But for example, I made it a goal to learn someone's name new each day at the gym, and I didn't tell anyone that I was doing this or that this was a goal until I'd already been doing it for a week. The reason for me, at least, is it kind of goes back to some of the things I was talking about before. You might not really have thought through if the thing you're wanting to do is really possible and plausible, and the cost or the benefits outweigh the cost. You might think they do, and it's really exciting to set a goal at the beginning, but if you tell everyone and then you find out a few days later that the benefits or the costs outweigh the benefits, then you stop doing it, then you kind of look, then it's not the best look. And it's not the best for yourself, because it kind of goes back to that, like, do you want to be someone that does what they say and follows through with it, or doesn't? And also, it's a reward that you're giving yourself, I feel like, by telling people. It feels good to tell people. And I think it can feel, and so are you rewarding yourself prematurely by telling people, like, I'm going to do this, before you even started? And so that's why I'd recommend maybe doing the thing you want to do for like a week, making sure it's doable and it's reasonable and it feels good to continue doing, and then you can kind of tell people. So there are my few tips for setting goals. Hope that helps someone.